I'm njoka and you're watching WION World is One. Thank you very much for staying with us. Time now for WION Climate Tracker. Here's what's coming up. And welcome to the program. Do rising temperatures, melting ice, deforestation, pollution levels bother you? Does climate crisis stress you out? If the answer to all of this is yes, then you could be suffering from eco-anxiety. Researchers, especially psychologists who work on climate change, its issues and how it impacts humans, have also expressed time and again that climate change can hamper mental health. One of the most common responses to climate change among people is worry. This worry does not stay limited to just that. It turns into anxiety, which experts now call eco-anxiety. A climate action survey conducted by a university, and in their published reports, it stated that out of almost 5,000 respondents, at least 19% of students and 25% of staff said they were extremely worried about climate change, while over 36% and 33% stated they were very worried. The scale of it affecting our mental health has gone much higher as compared to the previous year, as per the study. Apart from being worried, there are other emotions which are also likely to play out, like feelings of anger, anxiety, sadness, powerlessness, guilt, and helplessness. However, experts warn that we should not be surprised by these emotions because it is the reality. This is what they have coined as eco-anxiety. Every country in the world is experiencing the ravages of climate change in some way or the other. Countries are suffering, and this is bound to leave the rest of us anxious because of the uncertainty. There have been massive floods, earthquakes, food shortages, extreme weather, along with it comes a huge death toll. So what are the experts' opinion? Eco-anxiety is currently not listed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. This means that doctors do not officially consider that to be a diagnosable condition. Mental health experts, however, consider it rational and use this term within the field of eco-psychology, which is a branch that deals with people's psychological relationships with the rest of nature and how this impacts their identity, well-being, and health. So how do you deal with eco-anxiety? Studies have found that going for walks in nature may be beneficial for people who have eco-anxiety or climate anxiety. Hobbies like gardening, planting trees, and other similar activities could foster a sense of connectiveness with the natural world, and meditating in nature could also be helpful. Climate change is taking place all across the world. Some countries have been ravaged more than others, and yet there is just one planet to live on. So what are we feeling now is exactly what a million others could be feeling in any other part of the world. And for more on this, Kata Nylen, who is a climate psychologist, joins us live from Stockholm. Kata, welcome to WION.
Thank you very much.
Now, I have tried my best to explain to the viewers in my read about this phenomenon, but can you elaborate on what eco-anxiety is and how to manage it?
So eco-anxiety is like a collective word for all the different emotions that we feel when we come across the climate change in different ways. It can be that we actually get affected by climate change, or that we think about it and have a fear of what's coming in the future. So anger, fear, sorrow, shame, guilt are common eco-anxiety emotions. And it's not really a psychiatric disease. It's more like a very reasonable reaction to what we are experiencing right now.
How can you manage it, Carter?
One thing is very important when you get these emotions. Well, for the first of all, emotions are never wrong. Emotions are not dangerous. It's just things that the body does to us. And the emotions tell us to actually do something. It motivates us to do something about it. So the more we can actually act towards a more sustainable future, act to lower the impact of climate change, act to build resilience in our communities, the better it is for us, the easier it is for us to handle the eco-emotions. So acting in a collective way, being together with other people and doing something about it seems to be very, very important. But at the same time, if your emotions are so strong, you're angry so you can't think clearly, or you're so sad so you can't get out of bed, then you have to sort of regulate your emotions as well via talking with people about it, maybe doing things that are positive for you, like exercise, eating good food, being out in nature is also important parts. But the main thing is to find a community, find people that you can talk about this, that you can share your emotions with, and that you can actually do something about the situation together with.
Talking about the community, you as a climate psychologist, what are the symptoms of eco-anxiety? Give us an example of a person suffering from it, and what do they exhibit?
Well, it can look quite different. Its symptoms can be that you have this feeling in your body that you feel very sad or very low, that maybe you can't think that other things are important, that you're so focused on thinking about climate change, so it's difficult for you to think about other stuff. But as well, a person with lots of eco-anxiety could also be a person that think about lots of other things and have a normal life, go to work and be with your family and all that, but at the same time have this sort of feeling that something is not right inside of you, that you have to do something. It's like a little itch sort of that tells you that I need to do something about it. And it depends on what part of the world you live in and what situation you are in climate change. Like in my part of the world, Sweden, where we don't see as much of climate change, it can be a lot about actually that you have a sorrow or shame or a feeling of guilt that you're not doing enough, that you live above the limits that we have, the natural resources that we have on this planet. In other parts of the world where you're already affected by droughts or catastrophe weather and so on, it can be the feeling of being really afraid of how you're going to get food the next day, or if you can stay in your house, or if you have to move, and so on. So it's this very broad area of emotions and symptoms.
Thank you, Carter, for explaining all that. Now I understand. But finally, what do governments need to do to create, awareness of this fear of climate change? And can eco-anxiety be stopped or controlled?
Well, the only way eco-anxiety can be stopped or controlled is by lowering emissions and by making climate change happening less, so actually saving the planet or heightening biodiversity and so on. So the main thing the governments should do is to restore our natural habitats, is to take care of the atmosphere and the planet, stop fossil fuels industries and so on. That's the main thing that government should do. But also to inform about emotions and to prepare people to actually be able to handle the emotions is an important part as well, as people are really, really suffering on an emotional level. And you can do that via schools or your NHS services. Just inform people that you can have these emotions. They tell you to do something about it. They're not dangerous. You have to take care of yourself and be prepared as well, because we have to realize that climate change is here now. And we have to also build resilience in our communities.
Carter Nyland, climate psychologist, thank you very much for your insights and for talking to WION World is One. Now I understand what eco-anxiety is.
Thank you so much for taking me in here.
Let's move on now. Escalating summer heat and droughts are impacting forests around the world, with trees browning early and some even experiencing dieback. Scientists from ETH Zurich and WSL reveal how extraordinary weather conditions spanning over multiple years are now causing forests browning. It seemed as if autumn had come in July. During the summer of 2018, hikers traversing Swiss or German forests could visibly observe the effects of hot weather on trees in Central Europe. The research team has now conducted a systematic analysis of all low greenness occurrences in temperate and Mediterranean European forests over a 21-year period starting from 2002 all the way to 2022. To investigate forest browning throughout Europe, experts utilized high-resolution satellite data to pinpoint large-scale instances of diminished forest greenness during summer months. Decreased greenness signals reduced vigor and stress in forests and serves as an indicator of forest dieback. The results corroborate earlier observations that summer browning has become more widespread across Europe. Central European forests have experienced particularly significant browning in recent years, while the Mediterranean region encountered major events as early as the 2000s. The researchers also measured the impact of the record-breaking summer of 2022 on European forests for the first time. During the hottest summer ever recorded, Europe witnessed its most extensive browning to date, encompassing at least 37% of temperate and Mediterranean forest areas. Noticeable meteorological precursors in both regions include increased dry spells with a significant precipitation deficit for at least 2 years before the events. In the Mediterranean region, such dry periods may even extend back by 3 years. Escalating summer heat will continue to have several significant impacts on forests, affecting their health, structure, and overall functioning. Experts suggest adaptive forest management strategies such as planting more heat-tolerant tree species, monitoring pest and disease outbreaks, and implementing fire prevention measures that will be crucial for minimizing the impact of escalating summer heat on forests. Hundreds of South Koreans were forced to flee a wildfire fueled by strong winds that burned parts of an eastern coastal city, destroying dozens of homes. More than 700 firefighters and 300 vehicles were dispatched to fight the fire that started on a mountain in central part of Gangneung. At least 44 homes were destroyed and more than 300 residents evacuated to facilities that included an ice skating arena and a middle school gym. There were no immediate reports of injuries or death. And according to the ministry, it wasn't immediately clear how long it would take firefighters to bring the flames under control, as the high winds made it difficult to deploy aircrafts. South Korean president instructed officials to deploy all available equipment and personnel to swiftly extinguish the wildfire and evacuate residents to prevent the loss of life. High pollution levels in Thailand's northern city of Chiang Mai and surrounding provinces are keeping tourists away and alarming locals, with the government urging residents to avoid outdoor activities. And alongside Thailand, Vietnam's capital city Hanoi experienced severe air pollution as air quality index in the Vietnamese capital climbed to 161, breaching unhealthy levels. For several weeks last month, Chiang Mai was at the top of Air Quality Index global chart on poor air quality and surpassed the pollution levels of Lahore in Pakistan and New Delhi in India. Chiang Mai, known for its scenic mountainous views, temples and chic cafes, received 10.8 million visitors in pre-pandemic 2019, but hotel bookings in the city have dropped to 45% occupancy, reported the Thai Hotel Association body.
Yeah, I think it feels like warmer, and you can see at the environment that it's dusty. And sometimes when you're walking, you do feel in your face like the dust. And when you clean your face, well, when I get to the hotel and I clean my face, I see the pads and I'm like, this is really dirty.
According to the Vietnamese Environment Monitoring Uptown in Hanoi and Mai Son district in the northern mountainous province of Son La, saw the most serious air pollution on April 5th with an air quality index of 310 and 333 respectively.
Tình trạng không khí hôm nay thì nó về khách quan đấy thì nó ô nhiễm khá nặng. Tại vì mặc dù cái thời tiết của mình nó rất là mát, nhưng mà cái tình trạng không khí thì nó đem lại cho em một cái cảm giác nó không an toàn lắm.
The PM 2.5 concentration in Hanoi is currently 17 times the World Health Organization's annual air quality guideline value. Now, according to IQ Air, Hanoi's poor air quality is likely a result of emissions from motor vehicles, of which there are over 8 million in the city, as well as crop burning. At least 6 people were killed and several others injured in an avalanche that struck the French Alps over the weekend. Among the dead were 2 mountain guides caught by the snow tumbling down the Amarat glacier. Rescue process to find the missing skiers is still underway. After the discovery of 4 victims on Sunday, rescuers found the body of a 39-year-old woman and a 6th victim who was probably her partner. During the rescue process, 1 person suffered slight injuries in the avalanche, while 8 others who were also swept up were unharmed. The avalanche covered an area of over a kilometer by 500 meters. The people swept away by the avalanche were backcountry skiing. The identities of the victims are being confirmed. The mayor of the town of Contamines described the avalanche the most deadly avalanche this season.
Et voilà, oui, on est tous tristes, on est tous sidérés, il n'y a pas de mots pour qualifier notre tristesse, mais incomparable, je suppose, à celle des familles des six décédés d'ailleurs, parce qu'on a quand même une pensée. Bon, bien sûr, Clément, c'est l'enfant du pays, on pense beaucoup à lui parce qu'on le connaît, on l'a connu petit, mais on pense aussi aux 5 autres personnes disparues et aux familles de ces gens pour qui ça doit être un véritable cauchemar.
According to experts, no avalanche warning had been issued for the region by weather authority Meteor France. But a combination of warmth and wind may have been behind the disaster. Emergency responders had deployed a helicopter as well as mountain rescue dogs to the scene, although experts warned that a further avalanche could not be ruled out. Tesla is set to expand its presence in China with a new factory in Shanghai capable of producing 10,000 megapacks of energy products annually. The new plant will supplement the California megapack factory and take advantage of China's world-leading battery supply chain. Tesla CEO Elon Musk aims to meet the rising global demand for renewable energy storage with lower costs through increased output. Production is set to begin in Q2 or the second quarter of 2024, following groundbreaking in the 3rd quarter of 2023. The new Megapack factory adds to Tesla's existing footprint in China, which includes EV production and a planned expansion of its most productive auto plant. Despite grappling with rising inventory in Shanghai and weakened demand, Tesla's decision to expand its presence in China signals a long-term commitment to the world's largest auto market. As the world shifts to use more renewable energy, Tesla's expansion in China could position it as a leader in energy storage solutions that will also complement its electric car business and propel the growth of its solar energy and battery business. Everything about electric vehicles drives innovation, from producing clean cars to making the production process greener, helps car makers save money. Did you know Tesla makes 8 times the profits that Toyota makes per car due to its production process? Well, that's got the bosses at Toyota concerned, and here's how they're planning to solve the problem. Now, according to reports, the world's biggest automaker is all set to explore the electric vehicle segment with renewed vigor. Toyota is now set to move to a dedicated platform for battery-based electric vehicles. This is being done to drive down its production costs and improve the margins of its EV business. Toyota's plans seem to be inspired by Elon Musk-led Tesla's innovative production practices. And to bridge Toyota's gap with Tesla, the US-based automaker Tesla has been able to make almost 8 times the profit per vehicle compared to Toyota. The Japanese car maker was slow to enter the booming EV segment. A part of the trouble was that Toyota produces electric vehicles on the same assembly line as gasoline cars or even hybrids. Now, though the automaker is looking at a complete overhaul under the new CEO Koji Sato, Toyota is trying to revamp the EV production infrastructure and catch up with global peers.
魅力的な BEV をより多くのお客様にお届けするには、車の構造を合理化し、BEV ファーストの発想でものづくりから販売、サービスまで事業の在り方を大きく変えていく必要があります。その変革をリードするのがレクサスです。
The CEO took over the reins on April 1st. Now he wants EVs to be at least 60% of the total vehicles sold globally by 2030. A large part of EVs' appeal comes from the fact that they emit fewer greenhouse gases and air pollutants than fossil fuel gasoline vehicles. And it's a wrap on this edition of WION Climate Tracker. Thank you very much for your time and for watching. I'm Njoka. This is WION World is One.